I don't know, as a player, to me, he was athletic, uh, fierce, fast, could shoot, could do everything on the court. Off the court, he was humble. Like on the court, he wasn't really, one of those guys that try to get at you. He did what he had to do and let his game do the talking. And off the court, he was the same way. I wouldn't say quiet. I would say more reserved. Me, I was, I more was trying to be loud and all that type of stuff. But he was more reserved and was a cool person as a friend. I've been knowing him for quite some time, and he's always been that way. But like I said, on the court, it was a different story. My favorite, or I guess one favorite basketball moment, I think I have, with Jeremiah, it wasn't necessarily in the game, like that. It was more so for me in practices and in pickup games. He was a great anticipator on the court. It's kind of frustrating to me. We played pickup sometimes before we had to do weights and everything like that. And, he was just a great anticipator. You go to pass the ball across the court, he always would steal my passes. And I would get so upset, so pissed. But that's just who he was, man. Great defender. It just goes to show you how hard he worked growing up, and that through his teachings and through his brother and everybody who contributed to the player he was and to the player he actually still is. To me, man, he was like I said, he was a great person, or he is a great person, man. I'm happy to call him one of my close friends. I remember, I think I met Jeremiah in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. I remember we took him on this, me and another player, Kevin Johnson, we showed him around town. That was a job when he came in, man. He, smaller kid with, he had his, I think he had his khakis on, a little pullover fleece jacket, and had a Bible with him. Had a Bible with him. I remember going to his dorm room, and he stayed close to God, which is familiar to me. But yeah, man, like I said, Jeremiah was and still is a great player, great fierce competitor.
Hold up. Jordan is the best. No. Hold up. No. Keep over the camera. See this man right here? Zoom in. That's the best player that ever played a game. Ever. I don't care about no Will. I don't care about no Magic.
I'm the points he averaged in a year.
Hey, so what? You need help? You need help? So you can't argue by yourself.
Stats too.
You need help?
Stats too.
Jordan is the best player. Oscar Robertson
game. Triple double.
Best player ever played the game.
Oscar Robertson averaged a triple double.
So what? I mean, he accomplished what Jordan accomplished though. Hey, you said.
On the road trips, we had so many debates on who's the best player, who's the best defensive player, who's the best player in the NBA, who's the best of all time. Just talking basketball, college, everything. We used to, on road trips, when in the hotel room, we'd watch, different games, college games, and talk about college players. And it was just, it was a good conversation with the guys. The arguments would get intense, but it was always love, and the van would be super loud. Please don't try to sleep when we was going to go eat or something, because that's when everybody was awake, and we arguing about mainly it was about Jordan and Magic Johnson. That was the one back then. I'm sure people still have that argument to this day, which is pointless, but back then we really cared about it. And it was just fun, man, just to argue about that kind of stuff, that we thought, who was the greatest. And Devin Peele, he was a huge Michael Jordan fan. And, he had his book and stuff. But yeah, man, it was always fun. And I had to film all that because it was just hilarious. Then almost every time after athlete argument about who's the best, the van would get real quiet. And then we just start listening to music or start talking about something else. And then, the coaches, they was old school, so they talking about different stuff that we wasn't used to with basketball, 3-point line and stuff like that. Road trips were super fun because you got one or two vans, teams split up. You go with the people in the vans you're most close to, and you see in different cities, you see in different people, different just cultures, and it was just good just seeing how other cities are. And it's a good experience to travel around like that. Because with sports, you're going to go to a lot of places, especially if you're in college, you're playing in pros. You're going to travel around and see different things. Like sometimes, like I said before, we, get off the plane. We have to go to practice or something. And then, go to sleep and then get ready for the game next day. Or we'll get off the plane, go in the morning, and then just shoot around. And we got a game that night. Shoot around was cool. We went through the plays we wanted to do for that night. And whatever player was on the scouting report, who was guarding who, what do we want to, our adjustments and everything like that. And I usually guarded the top scorer on the team, which is probably a 2 guard or 3 guard or maybe somebody point guard.
I really enjoyed being on the court with Jay Ward. I feel like he was very, very unselfish, at least with me, I should say, for sure. I feel like he tried to get me the ball and stuff like that. Also, I feel like Jay Ward was really, really athletic. I didn't expect that when I saw him the first time, but he was really athletic, and it really helped him on defense and stuff like that. He was quick. He would get a lot of steals, and people wasn't expecting him to be able to jump. Not only that, he was a very unorthodox jumper. He would catch people slipping sometimes, and he would dunk on them, and they wouldn't expect that from him unless they already knew who he was. I actually remember a time when it was only one time that he had a chance to dunk on me. So I remember we were in our auxiliary gym, which is the West Gym, and I think we were playing either open gym or something like that. And he came down the middle, and I was standing under the basket, and he went up to dunk, but like I said, he's kind of like an unorthodox jumper, so you don't really expect him to jump at certain times. So I remember it was already too late, and I gave a half jump, and I jumped and put my arm up, and then he went to go dunk on me, but luckily he missed it off the back iron. I'll never forget that, because that was his one and only chance that he had to dunk on me. But one thing I will say, my favorite basketball moment from Jay Ward is, I remember we had hosted the Larry DeBaney Classic at our gym. And that year it was us, Alaska Fairbanks, Chico, and Tarleton State. And at this time, Tarleton State was number 2 in the nation. And we hosted them at our gym. So I remember when I first saw these dudes, because I feel like their entire team was tall, 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", they had a bunch of those type of dudes. And on our team, we had a couple of them. And I remember seeing these dudes, and it was like, dang, these like the Monstars from Space Jam or something, because you never see this much height on the team at the D2 level. So I remember, starting the game, and Jay Ward came out cooking. I remember he hit a three, and I think he hit like another three within like the next play or 2 plays later or something, and he hit 2 threes starting off, and he was cooking that game. And for us, we were kind of, prepared to play against the number 2 team in the nation. So for us, we thought, that they were about to be really good. But we started off the game hot, and they didn't have a chance catching up. We ended up winning that game by like 20 or so. And we were up by more than that in the game. And Jay Ward ended the game with 20 plus points. And that tournament, I remember the next game we played against Chico, and Jay Ward also played well. And I remember him getting injured during this tournament, and I think he came back with his head like wrapped or something. And that goes, that's, for me, that's how Jay Ward was. I feel like he was passionate about, no matter what, he was going to try to go out there and play. And if he's hurt or not hurt, he would still go out there. And that was, for me, my favorite moment, because I remember him getting MVP of that tournament, and he deserved it because he went out there and he played very, very well.
That season, I played with a chip on my shoulder because I'm like, wow, like this is my last year, my last season in college basketball. I got to make my mark, but at the same time, I got to play to the best of my ability and play as a team and a good teammate, and make sure we win some games and make sure we make it all the way to the tournament and make it far in the tournament. So that year, I'm trying my best to do all I can, on defense and offense. Whatever the coach needed me to do on either side of the floor, I try to do it to the best of my ability. I wouldn't say it was a fun year because it was so much pressure, on the court, and I put a lot of pressure on myself at that time of playing, and then the way the system was set up at the position I played, it wasn't in my favor. So, I had to create a lot. So it was a long season, and to me, the season, it didn't mean a thing if we didn't go to the tournament and do well in the tournament. That's what it's all about, March Madness. We were the favorites to win the West Regionals. We finished the season with a great record, and we had all 5 starters on the All-League team. We had an MVP, we had an All-American. So it was time to get it done in the West Regionals. Here we go. Oh man, we started off hot. We were, playing well as a team. Kevin was going, and Devin Peele was going, and Grace and everybody was, doing their part. I did a little something out there, and next round. Then we played San Bernardino in the West Regionals that year, and I hated them. That was our rivals because they were from my city, and the coach didn't recruit me to go there. So I'm like, okay, every time I play them, we're gonna kill them. And this is like awesome because I'm playing them for the West Regional Championship. So let's do this. So I'm doing my thing. I'm playing very well. And then something happened that it didn't sit well with me. I'm hot. Coach sits me out for 8 minutes, and I'm just sitting there. Why? I don't know. Then, not saying that's why we lost, but we lost. Seeing them cut down the nets in our gym, I hate it because we worked so hard, and then that happened. The way we lost was frustrating, but can't win them all. You know, I cried, and knowing that you left it all on the floor in that last game, I could live with that. Really appreciate everything Humboldt State has done for me and the great memories. And now they got the new gym and everything, and every single past player had a part in that, had a part in growing the program to what it is today. It's a great university, great team. Every single guy that's ever played on the team, respect. And I would never forget the times that I had at Humboldt. And there's nothing like that place. And you can still feel it.
Pacific.